What's going on YouTube? It is your boy Sir Jorge the Great bringing you our draft analysis for the NCP Nimbus Season 3. As always, we will be coaching the Scent and Iggy's, and I am excited for another season of the NCP. If you guys remember our last run, we did the Showdown season, Stratus I believe is what John calls it. We made it to the playoffs. If you guys want to check out that playlist, that season, you can check out the card is up there if I remember to do that properly. It might be this one. Who knows? But yeah. Anyways, I'm very excited to be joining this league. So a quick brief mention. When we were drafting for the NCP, we were also drafting for the AP. I'm like 100% sure we mentioned this in that draft analysis. But so I felt really overwhelmed. But I think the team we have for the season is strong on its own. I don't think it's the best team overall, but I definitely think we can get some W's this season. So really, the main plan for me this season was to get some really powerhouse Pokemon that can just set up. So my first two picks were Pokemon that just click set up and then they just sweep. So you know, it's just sweepers that we were picking up. So that's really what the idea here I had here. So for our first overall round pick, again, I wanted to pick up a sweeper. I want to get a nice round 1 Mon, and I really like their Mega Pokemon design, which might spoil who it is, but this is the one fish you don't want to catch in a rage. This is the one and only Shrimp the Gyarados. We picked up Gyarados round 1. This is a Mon that has access to Intimidate and Moxie, which are fantastic abilities. Intimidate allowing to drop our opponent's Pokemon's attacks by 1 stage upon entrance. And Moxie is really cool with Gyarados because once we click Dragon Dance and we start sweeping his team, Moxie is going to boost our attacks stage every time we get a KO. But unfortunately, it does have to be a direct KO, so they can't come in switch on rocks and die there, or they can't like double edge and die from recoil. It must be a kill from Gyarados. Sorry for that yawn. So yeah, I really love Shrimp here for our round 1 pick. It's not the best pick, but I've always wanted to use regular Gyarados in some sort of fashion. We really do have a diverse move pool with Gyarados. Before Generation 8, Gyarados had a harder time dealing with like bulky water types, but now has access to Power Whip, so those bulkier water types are gonna have, are not gonna want to come in as freely. So like Pokemon like Gastrodon, Quagsire. I don't think Quagsire's in Generation 8 just yet. But those kind of mods are gonna have a hard time coming in. Yeah. So next up for our next pick, again, we have a physical threat, and now I wanted a special threat. So for our next pick, she's a tale as old as time, brewing something nice. Next up we have Mrs. Potts, the Poltegeist. We picked the Poltegeist for round 2. This is a special threat that our opponent is gonna be terrified of, because once we click a Shell Smash, and our opponent our dark type is either really weakened, or it can be chipped off away from a +2 Shadow Ball, or if you don't bring their dark type at all, then Poltergeist can come in and just sweep and just click buttons. So again, we get access to Shell Smash, we get access to Strength Step, which is a move I actually like a whole lot. It's sort of a double-edged sword, because once you use Strength Step so many times, you start losing recovery as much as you should have been gaining. So I sort of learned that during my first APA match, but also we also get Shadow Ball, Store Power, which is really cool, because once we click Shell Smash, Store Power, it's going to do a tremendous amount of damage to our opponent. And again, unless they're a Dark-type Pokemon, I don't see a Pokemon that really appreciates that hit that well. So yeah, Gyarados and Poltergeist speed tiers aren't the best, but they primarily do run set of moves that boost their speed, so that won't be much of an issue in my opinion. Again, so our first 2 picks are really Pokemon that I wanted to click a setup move and then start sweeping. So for our next pick, I initially drafted Roserade, and if you notice I didn't have like a character intro or anything. That's because we actually made a trade immediately. So how do I want to work this? So in the middle of the draft, I wanted to get this Pokemon, but it was picked right before I was going to get it, and I was very upset. But then that coach who picked up that Pokemon dropped from the league, and then your boy C-Bad, coach of the Detroit Steel Wings, came in and took over that team. And so I DM'd him, and I was like, hey man, what do you want for that Pokemon? And he goes, I'll trade you Roserade for that Pokemon. And I was like, thank you very much. You have yourself a deal. So for our third overall pick, not really third overall pick because we didn't make it. We didn't pick them immediately, but they're in formation. They're ready to battle, and they will not retreat. Next up, we have Lockensguard, the Phalanx. I am very excited to have Phalanx once again for this season. We have Rose Raid in the APA, we have Rose Raid in the NCP, and we both have access to no retreat. I love Phalanx. If you guys haven't told by now, this is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It's on top with the Lord Executor, in fact. So thank you so much, Chase, for allowing me to have this Pokemon, because he was like, yeah, sure. I was like, huh? Okay, we're gonna have Phalanx for the NCP. I love Phalanx with its no retreat signature move, boosting every single stat by one stage, just like our Polteagus, just like our Gyarados. The Pokemon that can set up into sweep. Sorry. I don't know why I'm so yawny tonight. I might have to cut out those yawns if I remember correctly. I'm going to write myself a quick note. It has a pretty decent move pool in my opinion. I wish we got access to like ground coverage, but besides that fact, Phalanx has a pretty decent move pool overall. We get Hesitant Head, we get Iron Head, we get Throat Chop, we get Close Combat. I wish we got moves like a Drain Punch or something else like that, maybe EQ, but we don't. We do also get Rock Slide too. So overall, a pretty decent move pool. We also have priority in First Impression, which is kind of cool. We also have Mega Horn, which is a nice move to have as well. Again, Phalanx is going to be a really cool Pokemon to have this season. I loved using it in the APM. I think this might be like my staple Pokemon to have in Draft League, just like Alolan Eggy was. Unfortunately, he's a little bit more pricier than Eggy was in Draft League format, but I think it's a-okay. He's a good fighting type Pokemon nonetheless, in my opinion, anyways. He's just he's a good Pokemon. I mean, he's not the best, but like he's a really good Pokemon, and I absolutely love him. So yeah, our third overall pick was Phalanx, Lockensguard the Phalanx. So next up, I wanted to pick a Pokemon. I wanted to get a Fire type Pokemon, and in this format, there's not that many Fire type Pokemon. Maybe there's a few more now that we have access to some of the older Pokemon. But yeah, a lot of people like her, and maybe you do too. But to me, she's overrated. The Charizard. Charizard is going to be a very interesting pick overall, because it's a Pokemon that you can run physical, you can also run special. I think we're really going to have to rely on the heavy duty boost this season, but we do get access to Defog, we can set up with Dragon Dance. We just have a array of things we can do. We can be physical, we can special with Flamethrower, we can be Flare Blitz, or EQ, Dragon Claw, Thunder Punch. We get Flamethrower, Air Slash, Defog, Dark Pulse, Solar Beam for running Sun. I think that's pretty much the coverage he gets. We can also recover with Roost. Overall, Charizard isn't the best of Pokemons. His G-Max Pokemon is pretty decent with a Wildfire, but overall, Charizard's pretty eh. But it's definitely a good flying type. It's a decent Fire type Pokemon to have on the team, and I like it a lot. So I'm excited to have Charizard for Season 3. So, sorry, I was trying to get ready for the next Pokemon. So for our next pick, I wanted to get an Electric type Pokemon. I also wanted to get a Grass type Pokemon. When initially drafting, I know I picked up Rosewood by now. I was like, oh, I don't have a Grass type Pokemon, so I sort of doubled up on Grass type Pokemon. I just didn't like that at all. So luckily we dropped Rosewood and we no longer are doubling up on our Grass type Pokemon. So for our next overall pick, all he wants to do is nibble off your lawn and lunch. Here is Sir Nom Nom, the Rotom-Mow. Rotom-Mow is a really good Pokemon. It's a Rotom form. I've used Rotom plenty of times. More so its alternate form rather than the OG Rotom. But really what it does, it pivots around. It can pass around Thunder Wave, pass around Will-O-Wisps, get access to Defog. So we have another Defog here. Volt Switch, Electric Grass typing is really good in my opinion. We have Levitate to immune to ground type moves. What else? What else is there to say? We can beat Specs. We have priority in Sucker Punch, but I doubt we'll overrun that because I think we get access to Shadow Ball as well. So it's a pretty decent like mid type Pokemon. It can be offensive or it can be defensive, depending on what we need it to do. And I'm very excited to have it this season. And if you are too, then please by all means hit that like button down below. And like I said before, once we picked up we initially picked up Hitmon. No, I'm sorry. We picked up Bangoro and then we traded it for a Hitmonchan, and then we got Phalanx from Chase. And so I wanted to restructure our team, and so we picked up another Pokemon that we have in the APA. So I know we're doubling Pokemon from like multiple leagues, but I like this Pokemon a lot too. It's a Fairy type Pokemon, it's a Bug type Pokemon. All she does is scream Eddie-chan, and it's slaying those Titan Dynamax Pokemon. It's actually Mikasa the Rabambi. So like I said before, it's a really good Pokemon for our speed tiers. I think it's our fastest Pokemon in the league, or for our draft rather. Gives us access to Sticky Whip, so Pokemon like Phalanx, who are generally slower than other Pokemon, has an easier time to select the setup, so we can eat a hit and then just dish out multiple hits in a row. What else is there to say? Trying to think. It's Bug type, so we can set up with Quiver Dance. We can be Focus Sash, Webs. We also get access to Defog. We have a lot of Defoggers this season because we are sort of Hazard weak. Gyarados, Charizard, and Rabambi don't appreciate rocks that well, but you know it is what it is. But I really like Rabambi here. It's a good special threat for our opponents to deal with. We can also again set up with Quiver Dance. So we have multiple setup options in our team. We got Gyarados, we got Poltegeist, we got Phalanx, we got Charizard, now we got Rabambi. So it's kind of interesting. Our opponent's really is going to have to prep for what Pokemon we want to set up with, and depending on the situation, we could sweep. But yeah, so after all these picks, I really just wanted to get more defensive Pokemon overall, and I wanted to get a Pokemon that, you know, generally is just defensive. You don't have to run it offensive. But I've seen Zooge, I've seen some other Pokemon players run it offensively, and it does generally well. Better known as the Kinkermon by my friends in the SSBO. Our next overall pick is going to be Type Bull, or Type Full of, and we end it there before we get struck in by Kappa. But Type Null is our next pick. It's just a very bulky, normal type Pokemon that usually runs the Eviolite. I like it overall. It's just, again, its goal was to eat a hit and then click rest. Sleep toxic, U-turn, whatever it may be, so that we can just, you know, pivot around and make sure we have good responses to everything else. That's pretty much. I think we also get defog on Type Null. Let me double check that. Type Null. I'm like sort of certain we get defog. I know Savali gets defog. No, we do not get defog. I thought we did. Double check. No, we don't get defog. I think Savali is the one who gets defog. Let me double check. I'm like. Yeah, let me double check. Defog. Yeah, Savali does get defog, but Type Null unfortunately does not. It's A-okay with me. Not that big is a devil because we have plenty of removal on our own. Anyways. But yeah, that's our next pick. I am very glad I didn't click the next button. If you saw the next pick, let me know down below. I haven't noticed myself. But for our next pick, he is the captain of the sea. He knows his way around it. The 7 seas, matey. I have a really bad power voice, but he doesn't. He's seen a lot of things. He's slayed a lot of crew members. It's Sir. It's Blackbeard. It would be. It's Blackbeard. The Berserker. I love Berserker. When they first released or whenever I first saw Galarian Meowth, there we go. Because Galarian Meowth wasn't revealed until the games came out. I also was highly annoyed. Because they gave Meowth a Gigatomized form, and then they gave him a new region variant. I was like, boy, why? But I really like Berserker overall. He has really two cool abilities in Steely Spirit and Tough Claws. So Tough Claws boosts his physical moves by 1.25, and I think Steely Spirit boosts his Steel type moves by 1.5. So depending if we need a little more oomph on our Steel type on our Iron Heads, we'll run Steely Spirit. Otherwise, we might be just running Tough Claws Choice Batted. We do have Sticky Whip on Rabambi, so if we wanted to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Honestly, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but if we wanted to, you know, hurt our opponents even more and outspeed them with Berserker, we totally can now. And they're really gonna have a hard time dealing with Berserker if that's the case. We also get Crunch. We can set up with Sword Stance. Trying to think what else we can do. That's pretty much it. I think we also get Play Rough, if I'm not mistaken. It could be just line you straight up, and you would never know until you just check the move for yourself. But yeah, I really like Berserker here. It's a good Pokemon. It's another piece to our fire, or I'm sorry, not fire, grass, water core, to our Fairy Steel Dragon core. But you'll see soon enough that we don't have a Dragon type Pokemon. There just wasn't one that I was too fond of. But yeah. Next up, I think our sort of our weakest component to our APM draft is that we didn't have a Dark type, and I really wanted to make sure that we did have a Dark type on this team. So I was looking at what was still left near the end of this draft, and I know that she was still there. We headed for the NCP. Um, she's quick, she's stealthy, she's deadly, and her father killed half the universe. We have Gamora the Sneasel. We used Gamora in the NCP, and I think she did lovely there. I was a big fan of her. Put in as a finest works. We get our knockoffs are boosted. Our school character is pretty cool. We get priority in Ice Shard. We get what? Brick break to what else? Yeah, it's a pretty good Pokemon overall, and I'm very excited to have Gamora. So yeah. And now for the final pick, we were really looking down the barrel to see what was still there, and I was like, huh. We have 80 points left. This Pokemon is still there. Why the hell not? We're in John's Link, so might as well use it. So our final pick of the NCP is going to be a Pokemon that its name is very misleading. We picked up not Unpheasant, the Unpheasant. Personally, I really don't care for Unpheasant, but I really like the idea of just critting our opponents to death. With its super luck ability, and then with like the Scope Lens or whatever that boosts its critical chances with Night Slash, kind of cool. Now we also get access to Brave Bird, which is really nice. So we can like Brave Bird spam. We also get Pivot with U-turn. We get Defog once again. So I don't think removal is gonna be a hard time. We are really rock weak, but I think we have enough removal to sort of deal with that nonetheless. So I'm very excited to be. I'm very excited. With this draft. Again, you know, I think if I remember correctly, our speed tiers are actually really well. Like the way after we even reorganized, our speed tiers before we started reorganizing our team was really good, and then afterwards, I think we kept that consistency of having a good speed tiers. I'm looking at it right now. Oh yeah, definitely. I think if anything, we're missing like a mid, like a 110 Pokemon in our speed tiers, but overall we definitely have pretty decent speed tiers. Like we don't have anything that's extremely slow, so like Trick Room teams are gonna be a little issue to us, but other than that, I think it's gonna be nice. So that's gonna wrap up our team for this season, or I'm sorry, our draft analysis. Wow, I'm really blocking out. I apologize. If you guys are excited for this new season, then please by all means hit that like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already. I don't know how you guys are not subscribed to my channel. I'm kidding. It is free, and I hear other YouTubers are charging for their subscriptions. Not really. But yeah, you guys know me as Sir Jorge. Great. Make sure you are putting the word of Olenaki. And we will catch you guys for week 1 of the NCP. Actually, now that I say this, I think the APA week 1 battle went up yesterday, so check that out as well if you're still here. Alright, we'll see you for week 1 for the NCP. See you then. Bye-bye.